Hello, friend. It's Mark out in the back 40. In this episode, I just want to follow up on a couple of videos ago. I talked a little bit about some frustration with not getting organic matter in my soil and the soil samples. And I just want to go over with you some of the feedback I got from you guys. I think the thing I learned the most, and I'm so appreciative for you guys make comments on stuff, and it's very, very helpful to me. Um, There are a few things with, I guess I'll start number one with soil samples. I would call them inconsistent. And Albert at Vitalized Seed, he actually reached out to me and he spent a lot of time looking through my soil samples from the last few years and interpreted them for me. And I'll tell you guys that there's a lot more information in there than you probably think. Just looking at it to see what your pH is and how much nitrogen to throw on your soil, oh my gosh, there's so much more to it. And I'm not going to go through it because there are guys way better at it than me. But I will suggest to you that you might want to take some time, find some videos, especially go look at Albert at Vitalize Seed. That's Vitalize Seed, and he's got some videos on his channel where he talks about the different pieces of your soil sample and what they mean, like the cation exchange, the CEC cation exchange, and things like that. And he kind of interpreted that my soil is really not as bad as I have always thought it was. Number one. And number two is he found inconsistencies in the sampling for organic matter in my soil. A couple of videos ago, if you didn't see it, I was getting frustrated because I did a couple samples over a couple years and my organic matter was going down. But what he found was they were using different testing methods each of those years. Maybe Melic 1 on one year and then Melic 3 a different year. So those are actually different testing methods. So of course you're going to get different results. And so I kind of learned, like, you know what? I know that this works. I know this process works. I can grab a shovel and dig it up and look and see, am I getting that darker soil? Am I getting worms? Am I getting clumps of soil instead of pure sand? I can just look at it, and you can do this too. That way you don't have to worry about the soil samples as much. And just stick with doing that and use my own eyes and my own brain to see if I'm making progress. So that's one of the things that I think I appreciated the most. And a few of you other guys made comments too, like, everything's inconsistent, how they test different ways. It just kind of realized that it's better if you just look at your soil yourself and figure out yourself if you're making enough progress. And then the other thing that goes with that is that I guess maybe be conscious of what you're planting, because that's another thing that Albert kind of pointed out to me was you have things, and this is a perfect example right here. Like I planted a lot of sorghum and corn and millet this spring in these plots. Well, that has a lot of carbon in it. And basically, I guess what you could say is it's got a lot of carbon, and therefore it takes a long time to break down and become nutrition again to the soil. As opposed to if you plant a lot of clovers and legumes and soybeans and that kind of stuff, that's very nitrogen-y. Is that a good word? I don't even know if that's a word, but it's very nice, and it breaks down really fast and has a lot of nitrogen. And so what you need to do is make sure you have a mix that accomplishes your goals. And so I'm going to be a little bit more conscious about how much, I guess I'll say, hard matter, which would be like corn and sorghum, is in ratio with, I'll say, soft matter, which would be clovers and legumes and stuff that kind of breaks down real fast. So I'm going to be more conscious about that. There are certainly mixes out there that already have all that done. Albert's got a mix. Green Cover Seed's got a mix. I think John Comp up north in Michigan, Northwoods Whitetail, he's got a mix. They all got mixes that they've already thought about all that stuff. And if that works for you, I would say do it. But for me, I want to tweak things a little bit more. Like I talked about, like I want some structure out here. Okay, so I need to order stuff that's got a little more height to it. Maybe I want different stuff in my shooting lane. So I got to kind of do a custom mix, which the Green Cover Seed guys let you do a custom mix. You can put parameters in there of what you want, like up to three priorities. You put in there and then they give you a selection of things that match those priorities. So I would suggest going and checking that out too. But So that's a lot of rambling about the soil samples. I guess what my takeaway is that I don't know how much, now that I'm doing no-till, I don't know how much I'm going to do soil samples anymore because I'm not putting nitrogen or anything on. I'm not putting fertilizer on anymore. I know doing what I'm doing is improving the soil organic matter. I'll just look at that myself. So I think I'm probably going to go without any soil samples for a few years. Maybe I'll do it again in a few years just to see what it says. But I was really encouraged by other things, like there's more nitrogen, more phosphorus, and that's where Albert kind of said, like, well, yeah, that you are planting the right things and doing the right process, and is pulling those things into the soil, and all that's getting better and better and better. But the organic matter is always subject to inconsistencies. So I hope that helps you a little bit. If you got any questions, throw them in the comments below. I'll try and answer them in the morning. Thanks.